Hello, my name is Marcus Graham. I'm the writer, director, animator, and editor behind Papa's Sonata, my most ambitious film to date. What if we took your family's life and condensed it down to its key moments? What would that life look like? Many people get to the end of their lives and they begin to regret becoming so consumed in their work at the expense of family and friendships. At its core, this is a film about family, happiness, work, and trying to find the balance between it all, and what it truly takes to make a home. On the brink of an economic crisis, an ill mother plays a bittersweet sonata. A father's forced into working longer hours as a builder constructing houses. Whilst their son longs for a father figure, the father becomes increasingly immersed in his work, building homes for others. Yet he forgets to recognize that his own is falling apart, and that this will be the mother's final sonata, Papa's Sonata. Papa's Sonata is an art house animation drama with a runtime no longer than 15 minutes. The story follows the father and his relationship with his son, their bond through playing soccer together, which begins to fall apart along with the father's connection with the world around him. This story takes place through the mother's sonata. The film's language is music. It works as the narration, following emotional ups and downs, and as it builds pace, so does the story, until the stress within the father, represented by the growing sound of drumming, begins to fight the mother's piano music in this orchestral climax. The film is very tightly focused on the family, but there's clearly something bigger going on around them. The world they inhabit is changing, but not only that, the father's view of the world is beginning to change. So there are essentially two dynamic, stylized worlds in the film. First is the normal world, which is designed with these beautiful, soft, hand-drawn pastel images on separate layers of paper, which are then digitally assembled into a 3D world, giving it a physical level of depth. It's a mix of old and new. There would be 3D objects, but they'd all be painted with this watercolor design. The environment has multiple stages to emphasize the progression of time in the film, how it can chip away at us, and how relationships can deteriorate in front of us over time without us even truly realizing. The second world is based on the father's growing perception of the world. As he's working on constructing these houses, he visualizes them in their unfinished blueprint form. But as his work begins to consume his scope of life, the blueprints begin to slowly seep into his own home until it's enveloped by this blueprint design, and it becomes less of a home and more of just a house, an empty, lonely house. The blueprint world is a complete contrast of the normal world. It's more sterile, cold, minimalist, scattered unfinished designs over designs with different levels of opacity. It is the visualization of disconnection. I seamlessly combine elements of film and animation inside a story structured as a montage, using repetition to convey the monotony and growing struggles of separation, disconnection, and derealization surrounding and inevitably consuming the father. So each scene works like a vignette that slowly builds pace over the course of the family's life in their new home. My goal was to make a world that is more than just some stale, stagnant backdrop for the drama to take place in front of. Instead, making the world an intrinsic part of the storytelling, in a sense being a character of its own that develops along with the story, I believe is universal, about what makes that place we call home. Papa's Sonata literally cannot be made without your support. I've been working on the film for over a year and managed to put together a crew of creative and passionate individuals. I've invested everything I can into this film. My time, every drop of my creative energy, and every last cent I've earned has all gone into this project. But now it's up to you to take the next step in making this detailed vision a reality. We've tried to put together some awesome incentives for backers, and we thank you greatly for your support. With your help, we hope to make a film that will touch people around the world who are facing economic struggle and remind them they're not alone and to not lose sight of what's important.